So, since the beginning, when we start to live for Jesus, Jesus sent many different people to our country, and people from here, from USA, people from England, and share us the gospel. And I can realize that how God loves us to send people from different countries to talk about. Of course, we grew up in Brazil, in Catholic Church, but hearing about other kind of churches doing it. So I received this as a gift, not just from people, from God, how we are important to Jesus, like you said.
Yeah.
So this opened my eyes to do something for this global church. I realized that we are receiving to some from God, and now it's time to offer something to them. Because we realized then the beginning, when I start to read the Bible and understand the Bible, we are one body. We have different gifts and different talents, but the global word is the same for Jesus. In our purpose to go to worldwide, spread the gospel, making disciples. And I asked God, please, the same thing they offer for us, their gifts, I must offer our gift to them.
You know, what I think of in this moment off the top of my head has to do with Scripture. Like, I remember being in Bible school or seminary and studying Greek participles, and, you know, just the whole notion that this text says something and we use, you know, methods of exegesis, and, you know, we look up words and we study, you know, grammar and context, and like trying to almost like unlock a puzzle and find like this one true meaning of a text. And I think the text does have a meaning. But man, when I see people from Latin America or Black Christians or Asian Christians engaging with that same text and coming to the same basic meaning, but the way it impacts their life and the way they live out of it is just stunning to me. And so it makes me just, what I think I am saying I've learned is something about the capacity of Scripture, that it's not merely something that we exegete to find some sort of truth, but that the truth then impacts all these cultures in very different ways. And then we get to learn from all the ways that the Scripture, for instance, has given Black people hope, or you know, just on and on and on, the way they read text, and all sorts of cultures read text different than we do. That's just so encouraging to me about the capacity of God to speak to people all over the world, shepherd his people through the same text and all our different ways of reading it. It's just amazing to me. For me, it doesn't lessen the authority of Scripture. It magnifies, like, not just the authority, but the capacity of Scripture to shepherd this hugely diverse church. Amazing.
I would say in my own formation, that was part of my own life. Global missions have been part of all of my Christian faith. At 19 years old, I spent 8 weeks in northern India. I was no William Carey, you know, because I brought all of this kind of Pentecostal triumphalism to the process. Yeah. And I thought, I'm going to see lots of things happen, and it was a complete disaster. I was arrested 3 times. I was beat up on a train. We got stoned, ran out of town. There was zero fruit evangelistically. And so this entire enterprise that I thought I was going to do good for a community was completely destroyed. This illusion that I had anything to offer was blown out of the water. And yet, what I realized in that place was that I received a gift from these young men, these teenagers, boys on this Operation Mobilization truck team. Who?
You were in one of those teams?
Yes.
Where? Which year?
1981.
1981. Where in North India?
Uttar Pradesh.
Hey, I was the leader in Uttar Pradesh for OM in 1981. Look at that.
Do you remember Shamshad?
Yeah, Shamshad Ali.
Yeah.
He's my team member, team leader. You worked with him?
He was my team leader on this truck team for this summer.
Wow, what a small world.
And so what I learned is, like, I was seeing this, all of my kind of faith kind of crumble in this place, not knowing what to do. And then I had this model in Shamshad, who's a Muslim background believer, who had riches of resilience. Riches of Faith, a gentleman named Kogan. Did you remember Kogan?
Yeah, Kogan, Basumatri.
Yeah. Good friend on this team who lost some of his family members to persecution.
Yeah.
We lost him for 3 or 4 hours on this day, and we came back. Shamshad was leading and said, we need to go back to the base. Kogan refused to let us, and so we need to go proclaim the gospel. And realize these young brothers were rich in faith, rich in passion for the gospel, rich in a capacity for resilience in the face of persecution. And what they did for me, and what my engagement in global mission for the rest of my life has done, is expose my poverty. For all of my educational wealth, for all of my financial wealth, for all of my opportunity wealth, I'm just have great poverty. And so I've been in 12 different countries: Asia, Latin America, Europe, the subcontinent. In every place, my poverty gets exposed, and the riches of God's church become a gift to me. And because of that, we have sent our children all over the planet for what they can receive from God's people and other communities. We want them to realize that people with financial poverty can be rich in joy, and rich in community, and rich in faith in the scriptures and trust in the authority of the word, and wisdom, and about how to employ their understanding of the scripture. It's changed our whole family. And so I know lots and lots of churches who are leaning into the riches of communities that have what we consider to be poor, but they're actually just wealthy in all the ways that are kingdom wealth, I think.